Hi everyone, delonewolf here and welcome back to the Sunday recap, my weekly vlog where I talk a bit about my last week in games and, well, pretty slow week for me in EVE Online. I didn't do all that much, a little bit of anomaly cleaning, and then next to that I also did the BPCs, which is sort of interesting. Carrier BPCs not selling that well, but it's still really the freighters that are doing amazingly well, selling like 15 million range, which is very large margin on the production cost, so that's going nicely. And then I would say that what's still moving but at pretty low prices are structure BPCs at the moment. Perhaps some preparations for the Imperium War are being done on that front as well. PI doing that as well, a little bit of surprise this week if you follow EVE, but PI is actually going up in price. I was expecting it to continue to go down as the summer slump might hit, but it looks to me like the announcement from the Imperium that they will deploy is having a big impact on the market. Mostly basically forming bottoms, and then to my surprise actually PI up with, for instance, mechanical parts up to 11k, which is definitely a nice time to try and sell some of the stuff that I've been making as well. I think next week I'll have to empty out my planets as well. A couple of them are starting to get quite full on that front. And well, for the development, I mean, we had those mass tests, but they were focusing of course on graphical updates, so we are waiting for some gameplay updates from CCP. And I would say it's interesting that we had a tweet from CCP that actually gave the Galente faction warfare guys a target, so a system to conquer back and then some surrounding systems to conquer as well, which is something I don't think that we've seen before. And so it is my speculation that this is like the first bit of actual CCP stuff when it comes to telling the story towards the next big update, you could say, which is probably then going to be that faction warfare update. So for me, this is just going to mean that I am going to look into becoming a little bit more active in Galente space rather than a Mars space, although I do want to keep the BPCs up and running, so maybe I'll have to try and move them or something. We will see how all of that works out, but it's pretty interesting. I personally do think that basically there is not all that much else in real development, in full development you could say, than what was announced at FanFest. And so to me that means that that storytelling way of doing an expansion is going to focus on faction warfare. And so if you want to try and find some of the stuff that's happening already in game, in all likeliness faction warfare is going to be the place to do it. Now, not something that I'm personally interested in the current system, because I want to be able to fly in all spaces, but hopefully with the faction warfare update I can actually take part in that without necessarily completely destroying my reputation with the Caldari, for instance, if we would go the Galente route. We will see, but that is my speculation and what I'm keeping an eye on. I still have to do a little bit of consolidation in the Mars space, so perhaps I will try to get back into a higher gear in the upcoming weeks, get that done, get ready for whatever comes next in EVE Online. And I did play a little bit more Civilization 6 in the last week as well. I'm trying to knock out another achievement, which is to win a game with Arabia, which to my surprise, even at the easy settings, is not all that easy. Turns out that I've started 3 times at this point, just because on a couple of them I had like really bad starts where my capital city had like 6 mountain tiles on it and stuff like that. Still tried a little bit just to explore what it's like, but what I'm really surprised by is that there's always a civilization that's like doing exceptionally well, not on my continent all of a sudden. So I think in one game it was the United States, so America, and another one it was Greece that was like really knocking it out of the park and conquering other civilizations as well. So it was kind of crazy. It's not that easy, it seems, to really win a game with Arabia. Their bonuses are really focused on religion and on getting research through religion. So it's definitely a unique play style. But I think if I'm really going to steamroll something, we're gonna have to add like a military option or something like that to that. So that's what I'm exploring at the moment in Civilization 6, just playing the game game a little bit in a pretty casual way, but there's, I think, like 2 or 3 civilizations that I still have to basically get a victory with, and that's something that I sort of want to get Arabia done, but we might move on to some other stuff as well. At this point, we will of course, as always, see, and I'll keep you guys up to date. But in short, that was my last week in games. A little bit of EVE Online and a little bit of Civilizations, and I'm looking forward to a couple more of these relaxing weeks, and then hopefully we get some actual news as to the EVE Online front, and we can start to spend a little bit more time there. That's it for this Sunday recap, guys. Thank you very much for watching, and as always, I'll see you next time.